I just watched Tekken Bloodline and the fights in this show are insane.
Damn, he really about to rock my shit.
Oh! He needs some milk!
Let's kick it off by talking about Leroy Smith versus Jin KAZAMA. Leroy kicks it off with 5 hits that all got blocked like how Haley did Shamik Moore. Jin goes for a leg sweep but that didn't connect. However, Jin manages to land a kick right after. And so far the stats aren't looking good on Leroy's side. 5 hits executed and none dealt damage. But Jin dished out 2 kicks, landed one and had him hitting an emote that one Saiyan Prince always pulls out of his inventory. But Leroy retaliates and stomps on Jin's foot. Van lands a hit which pushes Jin back. And Leroy started feeling himself after he landed that. Look at that pose. Bro thinks he's Daniel Russo. Jin closes the distance, throws a punch but gets blocked. And right after that, Leroy gave Jin a taste of leather and had him floating in the air. While Jin was off the ground, Leroy hits him with an uppercut, leaving his neck exposed, which is what he went for next. After that, I expect Jin to be sounding like Aquafina because the impact of that sent him flying a second time. However, Jin lands on his feet, rushes in and throws 3 punches. 2 of those get blocked but the other sends Leroy flying. Jin jumps up and hits him with 2 kicks. But during this, all I could think about was how I do not wish to be the person doing Leroy's laundry. Broski pulled up to the fight in a white coat. He really thought he was gonna win this, huh? Leroy gets up, sends a bunch of punches Jin's way, but they don't work. So Leroy pulls out the special move, but that also doesn't work. Jin retaliates with a leg sweep and a roundhouse kick, and after that, he starts talking to Leroy like that's his son. But obviously, Leroy wasn't taking that disrespect. He sends out 5 punches and a roundhouse, but now it's Jin's turn, and he punches him twice, and then... So Leroy gets up, charges in and throws 5 punches and an elbow that dealt 0 damage. At this point, Jin was just playing with him because when he did that, he had lowered his defense and that still didn't do shit. Pack it up, Leroy. I thought the gray hair was a stylistic choice, but now it's clear to see that it was a sign you had to be in a nursing home. So Leroy sends a kick his way, but that also dealt no damage. And what Jin did next most definitely put Leroy in an early retirement. Now to follow that up, let's talk about Hwoarang versus Jin. Hwoarang kicks it off with 3 hits. They all made impact but really didn't do much damage. Unlike this roundhouse kick he pulled out that had Jin sliding barefoot on dirt. Do you realize how hard you have to be hit to slide on dirt? Barefoot. Hwoarang follows that up with 3 more hits that sent Jin flying, and at this point it's clear to see that things weren't going Jin's way. So the right thing for him to do was pull out that anime flashback power up. So he charges in, Hwoarang sends a kick his way, Jin dodges while landing a backhand and follows it up with a roundhouse kick. After that, he started cooking Hwoarang so bad they had to show us the string of hits from his POV. That shit had me as a spectator ducking for cover. But Hwoarang lands on his feet and proceeds to send a barrage of attacks that had Jin flying through a wall. Despite that, Jin gets right back up and the next set of attacks they hit each other with cancelled out, as they were pretty much equal at this point. But that's until Jin sent Hwoarang stumbling back with a kick. However, he responds with a kick to Jin's face, but that left him with an opening, allowing Jin to land an attack on Hwoarang's left leg. After that, Jin goes for 2 punches, but they both get blocked, so he goes for a kick, but Hwoarang weaves it, and all Jin had to do was drag down the foot that was still in the air to secure a hit. And at this point, it was wraps for the boy Hwoarang, as Jin pulled off 4 clean hits and topped it off with a Detroit smash. To add on to it, he was even posing like, oh my nigga, you're not that guy. If you haven't already, like the video and subscribe.